Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video. We're still here back with round 13 of the F1 2021 Williams Road to Glory career mode. Yes, we're back today ready for the Russian Grand Prix. The last couple of races have been rather exciting. If you missed out on the last video from Monza, definitely recommend going back and checking out. Of course, we've been doing a lot of the My Team stuff at the moment. It is really heating up in the final stages of Season 3 over there. So if you aren't already, now is definitely the time to be subscribed for more Formula 1 2021 content as well coming to the channel. But yeah, this weekend though, in terms of the championship at the moment, of course, the massive point haul we got from the Italian Grand Prix there has lifted us ahead of Alfa Romeo once more. You know, if we score one more point this year, we could be on board to draw with Yuki Tsunoda as well there. But yeah, Alpine 42 points ahead. It's going to require a miracle for us to close it to them in the Constructors' Championship. But we're roughly where we should be at this stage of the campaign there as well. In terms, though, of upgrades at the moment, we have still got 3 in the works there. You can see the car now very much in line with Alfa Romeo, Alpine, and AlphaTauri as well there. So very much all to play for at this stage of the EXE. The top 4 teams have just got a huge breakaway at the front of the pack as well there. But yeah, let's dive in then to the Russian Grand Prix weekend. Right, well, straight into qualifying then here at Sochi. Hopefully this weekend we can have a nice strong run in there. Don't think we're quite going to be able to replicate George Russell's P3 from the real weekend, but of course the sun's shining here, at least on Saturday for this weekend's Grand Prix, so we'll wait and see, as that is not the line through turn 1. That was, yeah, really not ideal, but yeah, we've got to try and get a good lap in. Of course, only one run quali, or one short qualifying. I can't get the right words out, but yeah, fingers crossed we can do something good this weekend. Bottas so far looking to be the benchmark on a 130.7. Can't imagine we're going to get anywhere near that, but we'll wait and see. Never know what we'll be able to do on the first runs here as we activate the DRS. Then Ricciardo in the McLaren at 130.6. You'll love to see it as we head in through the final sector of the lap. Get it slowed down nice and tidy. This final sector really, yeah, do struggle still to get the car where you want it there. Hamilton now dips under the 90-second mark as we try and launch the car over the curbs. Oh, we don't want to hit that one too much. And that's exactly why. Very unsettled on the exit as you just got 2 more right-handers to navigate. Again, try and make the track as wide as possible there. There is an apex apparently through that final corner, but a 32.0 puts us about where you'd expect. Behind Alonso, ahead of Gio. Russell and Raikkonen have found a lot more pace than me on the first run there, so we definitely need to try and find some time, as there was, yeah, quite a few mistakes on that sort of banker lap here in qualifying. Probably upwards of another second, I reckon, to be found here if we do get the lap hooked up. So let's just see if run number 2 out of 3 will be that lap, as that's how you take the apex through turn 1 and immediately 1/4 of a second up. Still only about 2/10 up though as we head in through Sector 3 for the second run of the session. They're a bit brave on the brakes, but that's going to compromise our exit. So again, just getting all out of shape right when we need to get the car composed and hooked up there again. Avoid these curbs. We're actually down again, but this now should find us a bit of time. So yeah, you can see we're straight back up to 2/10 up again. But really difficult to get the car placed where I want it there. Struggling with the balance of this thing, and I think we're trying to overdrive it just a bit too much there. It's a 2/10 improvement. It does put us back in 15th, but there is still plenty more left on the table. Alright, let's ride on board then. Final lap here of qualifying even, sorry, I should say. At the moment, we would actually get through into Q2 with this time if we were running a 3-step qualifying session, but yeah, for the Williams Road to Glory, only opting, of course, for the 1 there. Not the best run, actually, out the final corner as we head back down towards turn 1. They're already going to be close to a 10th down by the time we hit the brakes for the first time on this lap. 3rd gear, take the curb on the exit there, nicely planted. Actually on the exit there, despite a tiny bit of a wheel spin as we head through the long turn 3. Completely pinned, of course, even in a Williams. Try and take as much curb on the entry there as you tip the car through turn 4. And still pretty much about where you'd expect at the moment. Really just trying to not upset the rear end too much. We're trying to get the car rotated round. That's not quite the line through there. A little bit of understeer. Just so difficult to try and get this car placed exactly where you want it there. Again, taking a bit too much curb on the exit of some corners here. But now we're into the green there as we take a lot of curbs, try and give ourselves the best run out onto the long back straightaway here. There's definitely more time to be had, though, down in the final sector here. You know, the likes of Kimi Räikkönen are certainly going to find some time as well late on in the session. That was a bit tidier. That was not, though, again. But we're still 3/10 up now. Worried about breaking a bit too early there, but that was actually pretty well hooked up. Again, though, nudge that curb in towards the final corner there. Luckily, a bit more calm and collected than the first time we did that, but still just so frustrating here. It's in through the final couple of corners, down towards the line. It is going to be 4/10 improvement. It's 11th! Out of nowhere! I'm happy with that. I'll take that.
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves of our top three. Hamilton, Norris and Charles Leclerc. Goodbye for now then, but we're really just getting started. Make sure to join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
Well, that top two seems awfully familiar, ready for the Russian Grand Prix there. But Hamilton ahead of Norris, and then both Ferraris on row 2. But yeah, we must have been really, really close then to the rest of the field there. And the likes of Alonso, Stroll and Tsunoda not able to find time on their second runs there. I mean, it's P11 on the grid for the Russian Grand Prix. 7/10 clear of our teammate George Russell. But we're going to start on the fresh tyres as well. Could we get points again? Let's dive in to the Russian Grand Prix.
Welcome one and all to today's Grand Prix here in southern Russia. A beautiful location besides the Black Sea and a race that has historically been dominated by the Silver Arrows. Mercedes have won here 6 times since the first race in 2014. Can someone else muscle in on that record here today? Situated just 3 miles from the Georgian border, the 3.6 miles Sochi Autodrome has 2 notable overtaking opportunities into turn 1 and then turn 13. 18 corners in total here, 12 to the right and 6 to the left, and it's an average lap speed of around 130 miles per hour. Alongside me to discuss all the action today is Anthony Davidson. Thanks for joining us, Ant, and tell me, you were down in the pit lane earlier. How do you think the track conditions are today?
Well, the surface looks clean enough, but I'm a little bit worried about the track temperature. It's pretty cool out there, which could give some teams difficulties when it comes to keeping their tyres in the right operating window. The cars out there that work their tyres hard and really put a lot of energy through them, they'll be the ones that are better off.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Leclerc, Bottas, Max Verstappen, and Gasly, Vettel, Mr. Monaco, Perez. They've taken a grid penalty, and Lance Stroll, Tsunoda, Sainz, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Räikkönen, Russell, Ricciardo, Mick Schumacher, and Fernando Alonso. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Ocon and Nikita Mazepin. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today?
After the points finish last race, let's aim to keep the momentum going.
Right, well here we are then on the grid, ready for the Russian Grand Prix, and we have been pushed up the order into P8 for the start of this one, thanks to some grid penalties for many, many faster cars behind us. So definitely now, the points could be possible this weekend. We need to get a good start though, of course, a monstrous run down towards the first braking zone of the lap here, so fingers crossed we don't bottle it right off the start there. But ready on the grid for the Russian Grand Prix, round 13 of the year here. We can't afford to bottle this start. 5 red lights, and it's lights out, and away we go. Actually responding pretty evenly to Sebastian Vettel there. Bottas does not get a good start though as we head down towards turn 1, and it's a drag race of course between absolutely everyone in towards the first corners of the Grand Prix there. Want to be careful but brave as well, and we've moved past Sebastian Vettel off the start of the Grand Prix there. Charles Leclerc trying to look past Lando Norris as Hamilton already stretching into the lead of this Grand Prix there. Vettel trying to come back at us on the exit of the corner there, but we slammed the door shut again on that one. Let's look at Gasly trying to attack Valtteri Bottas. The old king of Sochi here is, well, really no more this weekend so far, and still as we head through Sector 2 there. Surely now Bottas is going to be able to pull it off. Oh, no, not quite. Gasly trying to keep the nose in there, so we've just got nowhere to go. sat behind these two. Everyone gets a bit of wheel spin on the exit there, and now we're going to have a look at the inside of Pierre. They're almost into the back of Valtteri Bottas there, and accidentally a very, very aggressive move on Pierre Gasly, but what a start it's been to the Russian Grand Prix there. Vettel and Gasly now going side by side behind us. It's an absolute traffic jam as we head down in towards Sector 3, but one of the best starts I think I've had on F1 2021, at least in career mode here, as we're going to try and break away from these two behind us. But yeah, I'm going to P6 in a Williams. I certainly can't imagine we're going to be able to hold on to the DRS of Valtteri Bottas behind us here, but if we can keep Seb at bay for just a few laps, it would absolutely carry us later on in the Grand Prix here. See Seb over a second back though, so this might not be as difficult as originally I thought. But yeah, there are going to be a lot of fast cars there. Perez now moving past Gasly in the sister car there, up to P8. So it's going to be people like him, Carlos Sainz, Ricciardo, who are all way down the order, that are surely going to romp past us.
You've lost some time to the car behind.
Well, I'm not really too sure what Jeff was expecting. We've got Sebastian Vettel, 4-time world champion, in an Aston Martin behind us there, and you can see Seb's coming down towards us towards turn 2. We tried to go defensive there, but Seb having none of that through turn 2 there. We're going to try and keep the nose up the inside as we head through turn 3 as well here. Is Sebastian Vettel going to be able to maintain the momentum around the outside? Yes, he is. He's got the inside for the next corner there. Runs very, very deep, though. There is contact between myself and Sebastian Vettel there, but somehow we do hold on to P6 for now. I think, to be honest, I'm more amazed there was no damage from that bit of contact there. Sebastian, I think, was trying to go defensive on the exit of the corner, but we'd already decided we were trying to get the switch back on him as we now head down the back straightaway here. Is he going to be able to go for something again? There's a big, big gap behind Sergio Perez now in this race as well. If we just go a bit defensive, Sebastian Vettel was rammed into the back of me, and Seb's taken himself out. So riding on board then with Sebastian Vettel just into the braking zone, goes far too hot, trying to make a move work, and it's just completely taken us out of the Russian Grand Prix there. What was Seb thinking? Our team have had to get us to box onto a set of the medium compound tyres there, because we definitely picked up some damage in that incident with Sebastian there. But I cannot believe he has just completely taken us out of early contention here at the Russian Grand Prix there. It was looking so good for 4 laps before Sebastian Vettel decided to put pay to that. Yeah, really not too sure what that was all about. And you can see a lot of front wing damage in that instance as well there. So, I mean, it's kind of given us a bit of a lifeline, the safety car being included in that. But yeah, not happy with Sebastian Vettel. Surely retirement announcement is inbound.
Up to speed now. Let's get some heat into those tyres.
Right, well, safety car is back in then at the end of this lap, but the team are reporting side pod damage and even more damage sort of around the floor of the car as well. So really it's not going to help us in this Grand Prix. I just cannot believe Seb would do that. He seemed to get the car originally slowed down rather nicely, and then just completely got off the brakes again. As we've got to try and make sure we don't do that when the field goes green.
Green flag.
Because we almost just lost out a good handful of seconds to Daniel Ricciardo here, but the balance is going to be a little bit off now in this thing, and yeah, we are maybe just got a bit too close to the sun, it appears, in this Grand Prix. But anyway, green flag racing once more. There is already Perez going to try and look past Nikita Mazepin back down, Charles Leclerc even, on Nikita Mazepin back down in towards turn 2. Mazepin's lost 1 place. Perez is now going to try and look past him as well. But Sergio can't quite make a move work just yet there as we head back through turn 3. Trying to just stay in touch with these guys off the restart there. Of course, Ricciardo and Perez on a set of softs now, as well as now Perez to the inside of Mazepin, who goes very, very defensive on the exit of the corner there. But has just about hung on. This is just costing us all time, though, as we get a nice load of wheel spin off the exit of the next corner. Don't want to take too much on that curve, as yeah, the balance is just all over the place in this thing at the moment. Fun times in the Williams Road to Glory there as we actually skim the wall on the exit of the next corner. But Ricciardo down the inside of Mazepin as well, so he's just sinking like a stone off this restart. Can we try and look past him as well? Oh no, Mazepin having none of that. But I think, yeah, we were probably a bit too far back. What is he doing? Why is he going defensive there rather than just getting the best run? We've gone round the outside of him through the penultimate corner in the weirdest possible fashion, because his just race positioning is just so weird. Alonso is another man struggling at the moment there as he's trying to defend from Daniel Ricciardo and keeping me in touch with the Australian here. Is Alonso going to be able to defend, though, down the back straightaways? Ricciardo, I think, almost thought about it there. We're just all over the road behind him, though, snagging the brakes everywhere at the moment as we try and get used to what this car can do with the damage. But Ricciardo to the inside of Fernando Alonso down the back straightaway. Alonso, is he going to be able to keep the nose there? He's not going to back out of this one easily, as hopefully we're going to be able to capitalise on the exit of the corner. Alonso slots back in. We'll get to the inside. Oh, he thought about turning in there, but we are having none of that. We're on our way through, mate. And we're now up at a P17, so we might have issues here. But there's definitely a few other cars struggling.
Okay, clear.
Oh, we've got yellow flags out. Someone's got issues in this Grand Prix. Is it Alonso behind us? No, we've got another safety car.
Resulted in lots of loose debris on the track. The safety car is being deployed.
Not too sure what's gone on there. I haven't seen any debris anywhere either. But safety car's back out again here at Sochi. Is it worth now going on to a fresh set of mediums and trying to take those to the end? I think it is.
Pitting this lap then. Come into the pits at the end of this lap.
It looks like it. I think pretty much everyone in this Grand Prix has got the same idea there. Ricciardo and Leclerc are opting to stay out. But we're all going to box in, which is really frustrating. Could have done without this second safety car because we could have been thrusted right up the order. But now everyone's going to lose out here. You can see a lot of cars getting stuck in the pit lane as well behind their teammates and everyone else that's trying to peel down the pit lane. Ferrari's there, Alpha Tauri's, Alfa Romeo's, as well as the Haas cars, so we might be able to hold up the Haas in this Grand Prix. No, Schumacher can get out from behind us, as I mean, we're still, going to be at the rear of this field. Come on, there we go. No, we've stayed out ahead of Kimi and Alonso, so that's alright. Then we have made up a couple of spots back into P15.
That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
Does, however, mean, though, pretty much everyone now is going to the end. It's just a case of what Leclerc and Ricciardo can do. Right, we go again then for another restart here at Sochi. It's been a carnage-fueled race so far, but fingers crossed now we can get a little bit of composure back in there. Our teammate George Russell actually currently sat well up in the points, actually right towards the front of the order. So maybe, just maybe, he can try and bring home some glory for the team this weekend as well. We're getting ready to go green once more. You can see he's running up in P8 at the moment. It's Mick Schumacher in 11th as well, but round in the final corner, it's green flag racing once again here from Sochi. We're still down in P15, but definitely feel now that we can try and get the car a bit further back up towards that top 10 there, at least sort of looking at it at the very least there. Of course, like we said, we've got Charles Leclerc and Daniel Ricciardo at the front of the field there as well, who are obviously going to have to pit again before the end of this, so they could be great deciders in this Grand Prix between who does get some points and who might not, and of course they're going to be mighty fast later on as well there, but it's just a case of whether they're going to have enough time late on in the Grand Prix. As always, though, not quite able to match the AI getting the race car switched back on, but now we're down into a rhythm again. Let's see if we can attack Lance Stroll. Mick Schumacher really struggling under the pressure of the AlphaTauri behind him. He's just seen Sergio Perez fly past him, but I don't think it's going to be long before Gasly tries the same thing. There is Stroll now thinking about lining up a move on Gasly as we head through turn 3 there. As long as we don't get taken out by another Aston Martin, I'm not too worried what happens between these guys. Right, we're going to try and get a run on Sir Lancelot here. DRS hasn't been enabled just yet again in the Grand Prix. But the Aston Martin really thought late about trying to go defensive on us. At the inside we go, a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact. But around the outside of Sir Lance. And we do make the move work. A bit of P14 now of the Grand Prix. And nice to know, despite the damage, we can still make progress here. Gasly and Schumacher, next car's in front. And with DRS enabled, I don't think there's going to be much Schumacher can do to defend from Pierre Gasly here, side by side as they head back in towards Salmon. But Gasly might get pretty much clean in front of the young German there in his Haas, and we're going to try and capitalise on the exit of the corner. A big amount of wheel spin again, but around the outside through turn 3, they're struggling a bit in the dirty air, and we'll have to slot back in for now. Can we get a run on the exit of the corner, though, on Mick Schumacher? We're going to have a look to the inside there. He goes defensive on us, but we get the nose up the inside, and again, another fair but aggressive move. It looks like Stroll's going to try and capitalise on that as well. There is Mick Schumacher losing 3 places in a sector and a half. Yeah, in a sector and a half. You hate to see it for the young German, but that's racing. Oh, and there we go. Ricciardo into the pits at the end of lap 14 there, so just over the halfway stage. I went up to 12th again of this GP. Charles Leclerc should promote us into 11th, but it's just a case of seeing if we're going to get any more issues for anyone in front. And there we go.
Teammate ahead is 3.6 seconds.
Leclerc in as well, so now in P11 of this race. George Russell still 3.6 up the road there. He's really running high up in the points at the moment there. He's behind that cluster of cars that have basically dominated this race and got away from us at the start there. So Williams have been causing some trains today. Oh, we got yellow flags out. Someone behind us has made a mistake. That's Lance Stroll. And as he just looped it around by himself, I heard a spike in revs. On the board then with the other Aston Martin. This has not been the corners for them so far, as out of all the F1 mistakes I've seen the AI make, that one is quite possibly the most scripted I've ever seen. He brakes appropriately, then wheel spins, brakes again and wheel spins around. GG's. I do love the fact the AI can make mistakes on F1 2021, but I wish they were just a tad more realistic than that. And now at last, as we cross over 2/3 distance, we've got some DRS in this Grand Prix there. As you can see, Perez now trying to have a look past Esteban Ocon. Not quite close enough to go anything this time around there. We're lucky we've got Giovinazzi hiding as well in P7 just to act as a rear gunner for George. But there is going to be some big points on offer for some of the minnow teams. Why on earth Williams is a minnow team? That is just pain in a nutshell. But it won't be for much longer. The road to glory you can already see kicking in. Just as we get to Pierre Gasly in this Grand Prix, the DRS has gone offline, so that's going to really cost us over these next few laps there, as we just won't be able to gain this sort of same momentum as we once were there, but shouldn't mean we lose too much distance to these guys. As soon as I say that, we dip outside the 1 second mark. We just got to hope they keep battling. This little pack of cars is looking like one of those rare occurrences in F1 2021, where everyone is just that bit quicker than the car behind them, but none of them can do anything because of the dirty air. But yeah, at the moment though, we're just trying to hang on there until we get this DRS back online. I'm praying it happens before the end of the Grand Prix, because I do not just want to sit here looking at points, but knowing there's no chance we can get them. The DRS has now been re-enabled here at Sochi, so now we can go on the offensive on Pierre Gasly with just over 5 laps to go here. Ocon struggling ahead of Perez there, as we're going to try and look to the inside. Gasly has to bail out of it there. Thought he'd give us a bigger squeeze and he managed to do so. And when up into the points of this Russian Grand Prix there, Ocon as well can't do anything to defend from Sergio Perez there. Gets all out of shape, tries to break in front of me, but we go round the outside of Ocon as well. As up 2 places in one go. And now up into P9 of this GP there. Can we get any more? As just the balance of the car getting a little bit upset through the final couple of corners. Now we've got to use a lot of battery to get away from Esteban Ocon. There is Alonso trying to get back involved in this party. But we've got 5 laps to go now, up into the points of this Grand Prix. There is a look at the 2 Frenchmen closing in. Back down towards top 1. We had to completely drain the battery to make sure we stay ahead of them. But still, Giovinazzi and Russell up the road in equal or slower cars. We can get more.
We have 5 laps of fuel remaining.
And now Perez has been unleashed from the shackles that was Esteban Ocon's Alpine. He's now all over the back of Kimi Räikkönen here, but Giovinazzi, even I should say at the moment, who of course has carried Alfa Romeo in terms of points this year in the same way we have for our team, i.e. scored all of them. But Perez that time around, I thought he'd be able to do something, but hasn't been able to. Clearly then the Red Bull's still not the fastest car down the straights.
But be aware that these tyres need to last till the end of the race.
Are we going to be able to do anything then? Look at the overspeed we've got as we head back down towards turn 2 here. Giovinazzi's got some DRS on our teammate George Russell still. To the outside though of the Red Bull there. And look at that, we've hooked it up around the outside of Sergio Perez. P8 in this Russian Grand Prix there. You absolutely love to see it. Now Giovinazzi surely isn't going to be too much of a threat either, as this Williams is an absolute rocket ship down the straightaways here. Giovinazzi though, not actually as bad as I thought there, braking a little bit early in towards the chicane, but again we muscle our way to the inside and went out up at a P7 behind our teammate George Russell here. Could a double points haul be on, and do we just try and play the team game? It's worth trying to play the team game for now though, as actually we've got a 1 second gap to Giovinazzi behind us, but just don't want to risk anything for our teammate George Russell here, who might be on for his first points for Williams in Formula 1 there. Giovinazzi still sat about a second back, but yeah, we might just have to act as a rear gunner and maybe go for something on the last lap, as long as it's not too risky, because I'm definitely quicker than George at the moment. And after the race we've had, I think we deserve every point we can possibly get. And this is why I opted to be a rear gunner for George Russell there. Perez has now moved past Giovinazzi, and I'm sure he is absolutely going to fly up to the back of the pair of us. Over 1 lap to go, though, and now we're really starting to feel the pressure from Sergio Perez in this Grand Prix. Gasly has now moved up into P9 as well there, so Giovinazzi is completely falling off right in the dying stages here, as he desperately wanted to try and pick up some more points for Alfa Romeo as well. But we got just 1 more lap to try and hold on from a Checo behind us. And I'll be honest, after the Italian Grand Prix last time round, I thought maybe, just maybe, there'll be a couple more points opportunities right towards the end of the year there. But so far, the Russian Grand Prix has been a mixture of emotions, I can't lie. Obviously, Sebastian Vettel's incident with me very, very early on there, the double safety car that almost screwed us in terms of strategy here. But since then, things have really fallen into place over the course of this weekend there. Look at the overspin we've got on George Russell there as we head back down in towards turn 2. But Perez still breathing all over the back of us. Gasly is getting himself involved in this fight once more there. Is Pierre going to be able to do anything late on? There's a 24-second gap up to Carlos Sainz in P5 there. It's been Mercedes, Red Bull, McLaren and Ferrari. Like we said, the top 4 teams have got such an advantage. I think Ricciardo and Charles Leclerc are well and truly nestled in this gaggle of cars as well. But Williams, we've caused so many trains today, but a 14 points is on offer. I'm going to buy all the tickets I possibly can. Getting a little bit unsettled there as Perez weaving this way and that, trying to unsettle us. In towards the final sector, though, of the Russian Grand Prix. Again, we've got a nice DRS and battery boost as we head down the straightaway here. Look how much we're gaining on George Russell. I could definitely go for a send if I wanted to, but we're not going to. We're going to play the team game this time round. Too much to risk. Too much that we could lose out on there. Hamilton continues the Mercedes dominant streak here at the Russian Grand Prix as well. But in towards the final couple of corners here from Sochi. It was P4 last time for us for 12 valuable points, but we're going to go 1 better this weekend, 6th and 7th. 14 points on the board for Williams. And if the road to glory wasn't on, it definitely is now.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
A great race then, and a fantastic win here in Sochi. And talk to me, what do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
Mercedes are on top form once again after an excellent race weekend. It's great to see them up on that podium once again. Let's have a quick look at how the driver standings have changed. It's a great result for Lewis Hamilton, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
There's a few contenders, but George Russell definitely stood out, I think. A really solid drive from him today, and one I'm sure the fans enjoyed.
Let's move on to the constructors. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Well, there we are then, guys, the end of the Russian Grand Prix there, and Hamilton further extending his lead at the top of the championship there, but the top 5 separated by just 2 seconds at the end of the GP there. We had Lando Norris finally picking up that podium that he deserved from the Rio Grand Prix there. Bottas in 4th, Sainz 12th from 12th to 5th in the end there. A brilliant recovery from the Spaniard there, ahead of George Russell and myself there. Yes, 14 points on the board. I said that closing up to the gap to Alpine would be impossible, but maybe with the 5th best car in Formula 1. I'm joking, by the way. That might just be doable. There's Perez in 8th, Gasly and Giovinazzi round out your points finishes there, with Esteban Ocon ahead of Ricciardo Alonso and Charles Leclerc all just missing out at the end of the day there. But what a race it was for ourselves and the team. It does mean championship-wise, we move ahead of Yuki Tsunoda. Hamilton 18 clear of his teammate Valtteri Bottas there, as Max Verstappen now 40 ahead of his teammate Sergio Perez there. That was quite a close battle up until about 3 races ago. Lando Norris still 5th ahead of both of the Ferraris as well as his teammate there. Gasly still in 9th place there, but like I said, we move past Tsunoda. Russell moves up as well there, past Giovinazzi, Raikkonen and Mazepin with his first points of the year there, and that just means it's Kimi and the Haas cars still yet to score at this stage of the day there. Mercedes have all but wrapped up the Constructors' Championship. The only real sort of battle I think to watch out for is, of course, McLaren v Ferrari, Aston v AlphaTauri there, and Alpine maybe might get themselves in the mix as well there, as we're comfortably now 27 points, 21 clear of Alfa Romeo. Surely P8 is guaranteed in the Constructors' Championship. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, do make sure you leave a like. Get yourself subscribed as well, and yeah, we'll be back very, very soon with round 14 of the year. We head to Singapore. That one is going to be a marathon. A massive thank you for the continued support from all our channel members. If you want to be featured in these end clips, make sure you click the join button down below. But yeah, once again, a massive thank you to the Travesty, Patrick, Chuan, David, Ben, Aiden, F. Stathios, Kato, Sean, Johnny, McBlam, and Mighty Spork for becoming channel members. The support is really, really appreciated.